Hi everybody, Alex Employer from Expert Forex, and in this video I'm going to show you how to use supplied optimized trading robot settings correctly. Now this is a very important video because this is the number one reason why robot traders do not succeed. They do not know how to use supplied robot settings. Now this video is also a summary of the no optimization branch of the Zero to Hero robot trading course. So if you do what I illustrate in this particular video, you will basically be doing the Zero to Hero trading course. So now I'm going to show you how I use supplied optimized settings as an example. So number one is understanding the value of optimized settings, and I'll go into that in a bit of detail. And then we're going to look at the aim of settings, and we'll be finding some initial settings. I'll show you where to find all the settings for your robots, and then we are going to be adjusting the supplied settings. Now that's most probably an area where people do not do anything. They just go straight in with their settings. Then we're going to be testing the adjusted settings, and we are going to make changes for over and underperforming accounts, because an overperforming account shows that you are exposing yourself to excessive risk. And then we're going to promote some of those settings to live accounts. So that's basically the process that I'm going to be showing you today. Now, one of the things that traders will not accept is that optimized settings only represent the ultimate performance achievable by the robots with perfect knowledge of how the market traded in the last, let's say, year or so. If we know what the market will do in the next year, we could achieve those kind of results, which obviously is not a very achievable goal. Now, the problem is that people take those optimized settings, and because of a lack of training, hands-on trading experience, practice, and knowledge, most traders blow their accounts very quickly, and you can see that smash that happen. If you are not a trained Formula One driver, there's no ways that you can get into that car and compete in those races, and that is essentially what you're doing when you are using those optimized settings. You're trying to achieve the ultimate results in the trading activity. So therefore, the value of optimized trading settings is equal to zero, naught, nothing, because they represent, and in most cases, 1 in 10 million chance of repeating. So there's a 1 in 10 million chance of repeating. They're also actually worse than most lotto odds. Basically, you're saying if I took the numbers that won last week, if I took those numbers that won last week, I expect to win this week. That's basically what you're doing when you're using optimized trading robot settings. They do not work. So what we are actually looking for are low risk, profitable, boring strategies that will allow us to drive safely, very safely, for the next 10 years without accident. So that kind of trading is boring because it's low risk, nothing exciting. You're not going to become a millionaire, but you're going to be making money. And that is what we're looking for. So we're looking more for not a Formula One vehicle. We are looking more at a Toyota Camry. Okay, so let's get into the topic of the video. And that is, let's go and have a look at the 3 sources of optimized settings. Now, I'll show you the free settings. I'll show you the premium form settings. And the third one is own generated settings. And that's what we cover in the Zero to Hero course, how to do your own optimizations using quality data and so on. I'm not going to cover that in this video because this video is specifically about optimized settings supplied by Expert Forex. So let's go and have a look at the first one, which is free settings. So free settings are available on the expertforex.com website, and they are available before you even purchase your robot. So you can go and have a look at the comparative results of all of our robots, and here they are, up-to-date robot results and settings. So I'm going to click on that where you find these free settings, and up comes this display which has all the robots that we have optimized settings for. Now these are mainly for Forex instruments, and they are mainly based on 100-to-1 leverage. And there they are, they're all there. And in this video, I'm going to be looking at the profit retriever. So if you click on that profit retriever, you'll find all of the settings, free settings available. All right, so that's where you find the free settings. You can also click on the full database, and it will provide you with a fully sortable database for you to manage all the settings and download the very best ones that you need to access. So let's go and have a look at the paid forum. I'm going to be using those settings, and there's a reason why I'm going to be using those settings. Okay, and here we are on the paid forum, and where you find the premium settings is in the main menu. You can see there set files. You can click on that, and the other alternative way of finding things on this forum is you just go through the premium benefits. There are all the benefits, and you can go through them. You can scroll through them and see what the various benefits are, but here are the optimized set files. They're number 9, special premium expert Forex EA optimization set files. So let's go into that link. And I like using the total database, so I'm going to click on that link and go into the total database. And here I am in the total database. There's the database. Now what I've done, there's a whole list of EAs in this particular database. I've selected the profit retriever over there, and I'm basically looking at Forex, but you'll see that if we go into, for instance, the index market, you'll see the results are like telephone numbers. They are incredibly high, and let's just sort those ones. You can see those are incredibly high. I won't go into those for now. Let's focus just on the Forex one. So I'm going to look at that. Now you'll notice that the optimization is done on low leverage, and that is why I'm particularly using this database, because I want the most conservative settings. The free 100-to-1 leverage settings are less conservative. The 30-to-1 leverage is more conservative. So if you're making a profit on 30-to-1, that is excellent. So there we are. There's the leverage. And then the second thing that I'm looking at are, you can see here we've got low drawdown options, and that is particularly those are particularly good. So I'm using low leverage, and I'm using low drawdown options to make my decisions. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on this return on drawdown, because that will give us the best returns that are available on the return on drawdown. And I'm just going to go down here, and you can see there's a 58,700 one. That's got a reasonable, not too bad from the first one. So I'm going to actually use that. And that's an example of the type of setting that I would use for taking into account low leverage and a nice good return on drawdown. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to download that setting, and let's go to the other side. We go down there and we say link, and it takes us to a whole lot of settings that we can download. Right at the top is the first one that we can download. It is based on the US yen, and the spread is a reasonable spread that has been tested on, and we've got that reasonable drawdown. So that is the set file that I'm going to download. So what I do is I just click on there, and it will download into my download folder, and we'll go and fetch it from there. And there is the set file, So what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy it, and then open my MT4 platform. Okay, and here I am on my MT4 platform. It is a demo account, lots of action happening today, and I'm going to put that set file into the data folder. So I've opened the data folder. We go into the MQL4 section, and we go into the presets section. There should be nothing there because this is a fairly new folder, and there it is. Okay, so I've got it in the presets section. I can now close this. So here is the Profit Retriever EA already loaded. What I'll do now is, and what we need to do is we need to change this page to the yen. Okay, and it doesn't matter which time frame we're going to go for, but I'll just go for hourly. Okay, so let's go into the settings. I'm opening and here they are, and I'm going to load that preset. And there it is. There's the setting that I have just downloaded from the database. So we load that in and we say open. What it has done now, it's loaded the settings into the EA. And if I press OK, then those settings will be traded immediately. Okay, so just to orientate you, we are at the stage where we are making changes to the optimized settings. The first change is to select low leverage settings. Most traders use the high leverage settings, and then to select low drawdown settings, which you've seen me do. Now, specifically for the profit retriever, to decrease risk, and this is what a lot of traders don't do, you need to halve the lot sizing, and I'll show you how we do that. And to decrease risk, you also need to increase the gap size. The bigger the gap size, the less risk. And I'm not going to explain the functionality of the profit retriever. Owners of the profit retriever will understand how that lowers the risk when trading that. But essentially what is happening now is I'm taking a potential gain of 58,000. Because I'm halving the lot size, it's going to 29, and halving again, it's going down to 14. So what I'm saying is we're taking it from being a Formula One car now, we're getting it closer to the Toyota that we saw earlier. So we're making it more conservative. Okay, so let's have a look at how we can halve the lot sizing and the gap sizing. So I'm not going to change any settings. And there is the price gap. You see, there's the price gap there. All I'm going to do is double it. So that will immediately halve the risk of these settings. Then I'm going to go to the lot sizing. Now, that lot sizing is very high, 1.6 as a starter. So I'm going to halve that, and I'm going to go to 0.8, which is half of 1.6. Okay, so now I've doubled the gap size, and I've halved the lot sizing. And that I don't need to change anything else. That's strategy is in place. I don't need to change anything here. Closure amount seems a little bit high, but I'm going to leave it for now. That is one that seems a little bit too high. So, but let's just go with that. In fact, I feel a bit uncomfortable about that one. I'm actually going to. This is not part of what I prepared, but I'm going to just go for 5. So I think it was 50 before. I'm just going to go for 5. So what it's basically saying is that if we get the direction wrong and we start building up negative trades, they will close all the run of trades when it's $5 positive. Now, if you wanted to close when it's $50 profit, you are increasing the risk tremendously. The price has to go so much further to get to 50, and that is why I've changed that. As I say, that's not a planned one for this particular video, but I've only noticed that now. So now we've made that change, and we go and save that, and we say, and I'm just going to give it a name like adjusted USD, yep, yen, and I'll put today's date, which is the 1st of November. Was it the 3rd? It's the 3rd of November. And that's good enough for now. And I'm just going to save that. So now, if we want to go and have a look, so we've got our original settings and we've got the adjusted settings. So those are the adjustments I would initially make to decrease risk considerably. So I'm not changing the strategy that produced those fantastic results. I'm just decreasing the risk. The lot sizing will impact the overall results, but that's on a decreased risk basis. So that's what I've done, and I just click on OK. And what I can do now is just click auto trading and it will start trading. Okay, just to orientate you back to a previous slide, we've now understood the value of the optimized settings, which is 0. We've looked at the aim of setting, and that is to get a conservative strategy going. We found the initial settings, we adjusted the supplied settings, and we are now into testing the adjusted settings and making changes for under and overperforming accounts, and then promoting settings to the live accounts. So that's more or less where we are now. Let's go on to that area. So what we're saying now, I've shown you one setting that I've loaded. What I suggest is that you load at least 10 strategies into 10 separate demo accounts. And why 10 separate demo accounts? Because you need to see the exact results of each strategy. If you put them all into one account, the results of each strategy will not be clear, even if you use different magic numbers. So this is where the hard work part of this exercise comes in. You need to now do exactly what I've done with 9 more strategies. Now, once you've got those 10 strategies in place, you need to then create another 10 by simply reversing the direction of trade setting. And just to show you what I mean by that, there's an initial trade entry direction, same as the MA. So what you would do is you just reverse it. So you'd use the same settings, but you just reverse that setting. The same settings as your adjusted ones. So that's where that reversal setting is. So now you have 20 platforms trading at the same time on your computer, and it should be able to handle 20 platforms quite easily, and you're trading 10 same direction strategies, and you're trading 10 reverse direction strategies. And the reason for that is that the profit retriever will often be profitable in both directions, because it doesn't really matter which direction of trade it goes into. But you need to have those two to convince yourself of that. So as point 3 years, load the settings into 20 MetaTrader platforms as discussed, and then you activate the trading, you get them trading. And hopefully that is, all of this can be done over the weekend, and you can activate the trading even on the Sunday night, and as the market opens on the Monday morning, trading will commence. And then you just leave them to trade, and you review the profitability after a week. You leave them on a set and forget basis, and you go and have a look at the profitability. Now, if the profits or the losses have become bigger than 10% at the review, you need to adjust the settings even more. So what it means is that you haven't found the correct risk level. So let's say your profits are more than 10%. It means that your lot sizing is aggressive. So remember, the lot sizing went from 1.6 to 0.8. So let's say you've made more profit than 10% of your account. You would then drop that 0.8. You'd actually go and change the setting, and you'd drop it down to, let's say, 0.6 or 0.5. So that's how you lower risk. You lower the lot sizing. Or alternatively, you could increase the gap size a little bit more. So that would also lower the risk. But the lot sizing is most probably the first one. The gap sizing is the second one. But you certainly don't want to go out of that band of 10%. And if losses, so you do that in the first week, and in the second week, you have a look, and if your losses have become more than 20%, it means at that moment that account is spoiled. You might as well start over with a new demo account, but use the same settings that you use, because they have now been adjusted and adjust them again, and start a new trading session on the new account. So that's how you would filter out bad settings and start managing your settings so that they are not exposed to too much risk. Very important. That is one of the biggest failures in robot trading, is that people don't know how to manage their risk upwards and downwards. So that's point 6 that we over there. Okay, so now we're on to point 7, which is just basically the adjustments, and I've already mentioned them a couple of times. If your results are going out of the band of a 10% loss or a 10% profit, you would lower the lot sizing further or increase the gap even further. And you would do that every weekend. You don't need to do that during the week while it's trading. And that's what's so nice about this process. It can be done over the weekend when the market's closed and you are under no pressure whatsoever. So you would do that week by week by week. So what you're actually doing is you're adjusting your settings down to become more risk managed. And that's what you want, because we are not looking for doubling your account in a week times, because if you are using settings like that, you will also lose your account in a week. We are looking for the conservative band that will never have drawdowns bigger than 10% over a month, have a high probability of gains of around about 10%. It's okay if the gains go slightly higher. We want to have that band of control where the losses and profits are in a 10% band. So after 1 month, you would review the whole profitability, because at that point, you will have some nicely profitable accounts, and you'll also have some losing accounts. And you'll also understand why some are losing and what some are gaining, and why certain currencies are doing better than other currencies, and so on. And you'll then be in a position to adjust your risk setting for live trading. So if you've had a really good account, you can take exactly the same settings that you've used before. You could even increase the risk slightly, not much, but slightly, when going into live trading. So that's how you test 20 accounts, and most probably introduce, let's say, 6 or 7 accounts into live trading. Now, here's the next thing, is the next month you do the same thing over again. So now you have, let's say, 6 or 7 accounts trading on a VPS on a live account, and you now start doing another 20 tests. Now, this might sound a little bit much, but there's a lot more that you can test. You can test the MA settings, you can test different strategies. Like the strategy I showed you now was just a decreasing one. There are decreasing and increasing strategies that you can test, and all that type of thing. But because you know the EA a lot better, that testing will go a lot better. And these 20 tests that you'll do will most probably generate another 6 or 7 accounts that you can introduce into live trading. So now, all of a sudden, you can be choosy. You can now say, I've got 14 great accounts, and I can now choose 5 accounts out of these 14 great accounts. So suddenly, you're not grappling with trying to find successful accounts or strategies or settings, because you have generated more and more of these strategies. Now, I hope you've learned a little bit about how I go about finding the best robot settings from supplied optimized robot settings. And there's no shortcut, unfortunately. You have to go through this forward trading process. You have to refine the settings. You'll notice that you don't need to use a strategy tester in this process. You can actually, just by changing the key settings in an EA, you can manage that quite well. Now, this might take quite a bit for inexperienced traders to set up. There are a lot of videos out there showing how you set up 20 platforms on one computer, and there's a whole lot of additional information available to you. Just ask any questions that you have either in the forum or in the commentaries of the YouTube videos. The other option that you have is that if all of this is just too much for you, there are people out there doing exactly what that I've shown in this particular video, and those people are introducing those accounts into the linked service that we have going. If all of this sounds too difficult or too labor intensive, then what you can do is simply link your trading account to someone who has already gone through this process. Now, relative links to items discussed in this video will be in the commentary of the first comment of this video, as well as the description of the video. And this process is often very off-putting because people are still in the mode where they think they can set and forget and just put in any settings that are supplied. That just does not work. But I have given you an alternative option. So from me, Alex Deploy, cheerio.